All right. I think we're live. Put in the chat. I was looking for a countdown. Put in the chat if we're like live now. Somebody tell us, are we live? Yes. All right. Thank you, Mary Bruce. So we are live. No countdown. We just went right into it. Yay. Oh, welcome, everyone. So glad that y'all are here. We have a full house joining us today. I'm so glad y'all are here. So this is our second live coaching session that we're doing. It's actually available to anybody. So you don't have to be a part of our Book Marketing Pro Academy to watch this and to be a part of it and to listen in and watch us. But we have called this, we've decided to give it a name. We have a podcast called At This Table. And so we are calling this, to stay in line with what the podcast title is, The Coaching Table. So welcome to the coaching table, everyone. For those of you who may not know me, if you're not in our community, the Book Marketing Pro community, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Shelly Brown, and I'm on the ownership team of Redemption Press. And this is our new live coaching, real and raw, uncut. So you never know what's going to happen and what's going to be said. But where we invite authors who are members of the Book Marketing Pro Academy to join us. And we just do a live coaching session with them. So, and here's the best part. You get to listen in and learn alongside them. And me, I'm probably going to learn something as well today. And you'll walk away hopefully with some valuable insights for your own book marketing journey. So you see that I'm joined by somebody today. So joining me in the coaching seat is Debbie Ashley. She is the author of Faith Refreshed, A Slow Walk with Jesus. So Debbie, welcome to the table.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm so glad that you are joining us today. And we're going to talk about some marketing channels. And I told you before we went live that I have an idea for you, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned, stay with us, because we're going to talk about an idea of something that she might be able to do to really, you're in your launch, the early stage of your launch, right? So yes. You're like almost 3 weeks in. So it's still in the early part, but we're going to talk about another strategy that she could possibly do. But you got to stay with us to hear about that. So Debbie, before we go on, for those that are listening and may not be familiar with your book, give us an overview of your book.
All right. I actually have one here.
Yes, of course.
This is the book I just released with Redemption Press. It's called Faith Refreshed, A Slow Walk with Jesus. And it is a 30-day devotional that walks us through the life of Christ and has some elements of journaling. It's got a journaling piece to it and a prayer piece to it. And the goal is to just maybe a person who feels stuck or is not sure how to refresh their walk with the Lord. It's a tool that they could use.
Awesome. All right. So before we dive in, let's first, I'm sure you've been through this exercise before, but again, for our audience, tell us exactly, or as exactly as you can, who is your audience? So when you were writing this book, who did you have in mind as you were writing the book?
Sure. I am a pastor's wife. And so as in terms of just who was my target, would be people that are new believers or new in their faith, that maybe aren't quite sure where to start in their study of scriptures or in their devotional life. And so I tried to orient this to 30 days feels manageable. And the life of Christ is just kind of a real foundational place to start. So that was one of my goals. And my other goal would be, and I've had conversations with women, especially as a pastor's wife, they're like, I'm just kind of away from the Lord. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to get going again. And so Faith Refreshed hopefully is a tool, a resource that can kind of get them back on their feet, if you will, with the Lord. And so that's kind of my target, my goal.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that leads us into this. Let's talk about marketing channels.
Okay.
So Sarah Cormany on our team, as some of you may have caught it already and been able to watch it, but she did live training. I think it was yesterday, and she went in and did a deep dive into marketing channels. So if you missed that, go back and watch hers. It's here on our marketing, or excuse me, our YouTube channel. Okay. So go ahead and watch that because it is a deep dive into marketing channels and choosing the right path. But here's the description that she gave for marketing channel. Marketing channel is the path that you'll choose to take your message to those who will actually buy your book. All right. So that's the marketing channel. And the first thing that we need to do in choosing our marketing channels, and it could be more than one, it doesn't have to be just one, but we have to understand our buyers' habits. So when you think about your buyers, Debbie, where do they hang out? Let's talk. So we're going to talk two things right now, online and offline. Did you see the balloons? Those are quite, yeah, that's, I love the effects, especially when I don't plan it. So where
right now.
It's a party waiting to happen. So where does your do your buyers and your readers, where are they hanging out online? Let's talk about that first.
That's actually a good question because I would tend to think more like for me as a pastor's wife, I think of my buyers kind of being in my congregation or in my neighborhood, you know, right. Or at my local Christian bookstore. So right. Online, you know, for me is a bit more of a challenge to find that audience. So not to put you on the spot, but I would love any ideas, you know, because I do think my tendency is to think in person.
Yeah. So in the chat, if anybody has any ideas for Debbie and you want to be a part of this as far as where her audience is. So let's go back to what you said at the beginning, Debbie, of who your ideal reader, who you had in mind. And it's women, right? Obviously, women who perhaps are younger in their faith. Although I will tell you, I have read almost all of your book, and it is rich. So it is not just for younger, and I've been a believer and loving the Lord for many, many years, decades. And so it really is for women who just want to take a deeper walk with the Lord, but not just a deeper walk. Your subtitle, I love it. It's a slow walk with Jesus. Yeah. And I love that. So online, I'm thinking, obviously we have all the social media platforms, right? We've got Facebook, and I believe you're on Facebook. You have a Facebook presence. Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on Instagram. You send out an email, right? And you have a beautiful website. And what's the name of your website?
It's called A Place for Simplicity, which kind of ties in with the same idea of not that faith is always simple, but just trying to keep it where we don't give up. We don't get discouraged.
Right. Yeah. So I'm, let me see. Mary Bruce said Facebook. I'm thinking Facebook is probably, as far as an online social media platform, that's probably going to be where a good bulk of your audience is, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, you can build more of a community on Facebook. And I think that is probably going to be a key for you, is really building and fostering a community. And the only way to do that really on Facebook is to have a group, to have a Facebook group. And we'll talk a little bit about that as I share an idea that's been kind of percolating in me for your book. So we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute, but let's talk offline as far as a marketing channel. So somebody had put here, so Jerry Lean said women in your congregation, but also women, let me put this up here on the screen, but also women attending women's Bible studies and conferences everywhere. Yeah. So Debbie, because you're a pastor's wife, you have community, right? In physical spaces, real life community, offline. Not that online it can't be real life, but you know what I mean. So you have the community, but you also have a network, I would think, right?
Yeah, our church is a part of a group, larger group. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Ann Griffith said, for sure, women's conferences, most definitely. Other ministries. What about book clubs?
I don't know of any book clubs in our area. I don't know whether that's just because if it's more just is it not a regional thing, but like,
yeah,
I think that's a great idea. I haven't really quite figured that one out here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Book clubs can be, of course, in person. That's always ideal to have in person, but there's some authors, and actually Asherita, she was at CPE that we were just at. She did something very unique and I loved it. I'm on her email list, and she did a book club online where she did a Zoom, and she promoted it through her email. And she has a pretty sizable email list, but it's prepared. She would send out the emails and had the whole schedule. I think hers was like an 8-week book club, and just really gathering women, inviting them in. And she would put the link in the email to buy the book. And for those who weren't able to get the book in time, she sent out a free first chapter so that they could read ahead. So having an online book club, I think, is a really powerful tool. Let me see what Colleen is saying here. Recovery groups. Let's see. Maybe those who have gone through cancer, alcoholism, divorce, or anything similar might have slipped away from their faith and could use a refresh. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. So let's move to, do you have any idea how your buyer or your reader prefers to receive information?
I don't have statistics, but just based on who I think is there, I would say by and large, if this is what you're aiming for, I think they really like the print. I really think they like to have something in their hands.
Okay.
I know there's some that do the online and the ebooks, but just generally speaking, something tangible.
Yeah, something tactile. So that would be the format of your book. But as far as, because I'm with you, I'm a print all the way person. I think the younger generations, they're digital, reading on their phones, doing it that way. But as far as consuming content, like your newsletter, for instance, short form newsletter, are you growing your email list? How is that going?
It's gone pretty well. It seems to go in spurts. I do really well with my getting email addresses at events. And so I did really well last fall, and I have 3 or 4 events coming up this spring. So now that doesn't mean it doesn't work online. It's probably more just what I have noticed, but there is something about getting them signed up at an event that seems to work well.
Yeah, it does.
Thinking of?
Yeah, definitely. Take advantage of anywhere you are, whether it's in person or you're online. Your goal is to drive them into your email. And when you're at a speaking event, I don't care if there's 10 women in the group or there's 1,000 women in the group, a great way to capture their emails. You can do it old school, have a sign-up sheet at your book table, but have a QR code, put it up on the screen, ask the tech team if they can show that. So Debbie, see if you get this answer correct. What do you need in order to get people to give you their email address?
I know what it is. It's A lead magnet.
Lead magnet. Very good.
Yeah. I was going to say download. And I'm like, no, that's not quite right.
Yes, you need something of value. And I tell all of anytime I have an opportunity to sit with our authors or any author, just give away your best stuff, y'all. You don't give it all away, but you give away your best stuff. And so you give that through your lead magnet. And so you're constantly, even on social media, and I beat this drum at nauseum, is that how you say that? Of getting them off of social media, off of, leverage all those things, but get them off there and get them into your email list. So, and just continually grow that email list so that you can continue to nurture them. Because remember, they are your email list. They've chosen to be there. And if they haven't unsubscribed, they are your ideal reader and buyer. On social media, again, I beat this drum all the time. It's such a wide net. You can love on them. You can pour into your followers. You can encourage, you can be the light in a very dark place that it can be very dark. You can do all of those things, but you are not going to sell a lot of books on social media. But what you can do is leverage social media. Don't throw it out, but leverage social media to get them off into your email list. So continually do that. Now, okay, if you had to pick just one social platform to really focus on, which one do you think you would focus on?
I would focus on Facebook.
Okay.
Mostly for comfort level. I'm really comfortable with it and probably have the largest audience there, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. And I would suggest even, let's go back to the Facebook groups, because particularly with your, and probably I'm looking at all of y'all in the chat. I know most of you, and I think every single one of you that I'm looking at that I'm familiar with, that having a Facebook group is going to be just a gold mine for you. And when I say gold mine, I'm not necessarily talking like making a fortune off of it, but it's going to be very rich for you, a rich experience for those who participate, and you being able to pour into them, and just really building that community. And one of the beauties of having the Facebook group is when you have your initial questions and they ask to join, you can ask for their email address and let them know that you're going to give them, if they give you the email address because you want to stay, and use literally, I think you should literally say this to them in some fashion or another. When you ask that question for their email address, let them know that just in case Facebook goes down, I want to, or I lose my group for some reason, which has happened. People have lost everything on social media, right? So, but just in case, give me your email address. I will give you this and describe what your value is that you're going to give them, your lead magnet, and say, I want to stay in contact with you off of social media. So you will get a high conversion rate of email addresses just by doing that. Okay. So that is a huge benefit of groups, and your groups, again, they are your target because they're choosing to be there. So they'll see your posts, right? They have a higher chance of seeing your posts. So really building that community and nurturing that community. So, hey, Del Bates, glad you made it. So I have an idea for you. I want to throw this out there at you. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready, I think. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So Easter's coming up, and Easter's late this year. It's April 20th, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's April the 20th or whatever that Sunday is closest to that date. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the chat, but April the 20th. So you have a couple months, but because your book takes the reader through the journey of the Gospels and Jesus's life, and then it takes them into a couple, how many chapters of Acts after the Ascension?
I think 2. I think there's 2 or 3 that follow the Ascension. I think so.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is where your Facebook group would come in. All right. So you create a Facebook group, And I think you should leverage the theme of a slow walk with Jesus.
Okay.
And so back up from the 20th for 30 days. And so for those 30 days, you're going to take them through kind of like what I described with Asheritas. It's kind of the book club, but you don't have to get on Zoom. You can do it all unless you want to, but you do it all through your Facebook group. And so, but you promote it through your email, promote it, have your friends promote it. Book Marketing Pro Academy will, support you in that as well. And get as many women to go on this journey, 30-day journey that leads up to Easter. Okay. But prior to that 30 days, you'll have 10 to 20, depending on what you're up for and you want to do. But let's say a minimum of 10 days to promote it and to try to get as many in the group as possible. Okay. During that 10 days. And I'm thinking like the essence of it would be to give tools during those 10 days, give tools of like physical, slow walk type tools during that they can do during the day. So you give these tips that they can do during the day to just quiet their hearts and just to begin just being, right. And because things are crazy right now. Life is crazy. Yeah. And so many people are going through so many, painful losses and things, and then let alone what's going on in the world, so things are crazy. And so this, I think, would be a perfect time to just draw women in of all walks of life and give them an opportunity and tips and tools to just quiet their hearts and begin that slow walk with Jesus. So I had, what did I do with, I had a couple of tips and ideas. Of course, they are, all right, this is real and raw. So let me see if I can find a couple of, shoot. Okay. I can't find the ideas, but I will send you the ideas. Matter of fact, you know what I'll do? I'll put a couple of them in the comments when we're done. So those who are watching this, you can see where we're heading with this. But so for instance, day one of the 10 days, 5 minutes of meditating on Matthew 11, 28 and 29. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. For my, I'm gonna mess up the verse, but y'all know which verses I'm talking about. Learn from me. And he says the word rest 2 times in that verse, in those 2 verses. So just the idea of rest and just take 5 minutes and just be, right? So come up with tips that even if it's nice enough outside, go out for a 5-minute walk and tell the Lord 10 things you're grateful for. Yeah. Right. Okay. That's great. Yes. To build up to, and in the meantime, you're getting them inside the group and you're nurturing the group. And then on 30 days prior to Easter, that's when you launch. And so as you're promoting it during those 10 days, you're sharing your book link. So for the ebook, for those who just want to get a digital copy, for those who want a print copy, they can get a print copy and go through the 30 days inside the group together and do the journey together.
That's cool. That's a neat idea.
Up to Easter. Yeah. And you might want to time it. So because you do have the ascension, the couple after in Acts. So maybe don't do the full 30 days before Easter, but maybe do like 28 or 27 days. And then you still have a couple of days after Easter where you go into the book of Acts.
Okay.
So.
Sounds great.
What do you think? Yeah.
It sounds great. And it sounds doable. I think,
good.
I don't know, this is a confession, I guess, but one of my things is like, when I think of long-term, it's like, I'm going to run out of things to say, or I'm going to run out of ideas, but just the way you laid that out, makes it feel like there's enough there to keep it going, to keep pressing ahead. So that's great.
Good. Yeah. And your group will just continue on. You just continue to build that community, and you will be shocked, I think, of how many women will be just, we need rest for our hearts, for our souls, and just the encouragement. And we have Ann Griffiths is on here, and she's building her group, Grief on a Bench, right, Ann? You can correct me. I'm in your group. And she's done a really great job on that, just very consistent. And so it's steady plotting, right? And steady plotting and building the group, nurturing the group. Good. That's right, Debbie or Anna. Thank you. But nurturing your group, but don't miss the opportunity of getting their email address, because you want to get them off social media into your email list, and you'll also start seeing your email list grow as a result. So, yeah. Does anyone? I want to share a quote in just a second, but before I do that, let me just ask if anyone wants to put any questions or comments in the chat. Go ahead and do that, and we'll spend just a minute answering questions, or I'll share the feedback with Debbie, because I'm not sure if Debbie can see. Debbie, can you see the chats?
If I can, yes. At first I couldn't, but I was able to get it to pop up.
Awesome. Yeah. But I was watching Sarah Cormany's training yesterday. I wasn't able to catch it live, so I watched it this morning. And she said a quote. I don't know if it originated with her or what, but it sounds like something that she would say. So it could have. But this is an encouragement, I think, for all of us. All right. So here's her quote. Don't overwhelm yourself. All right. Because you can have all the strategies and have all these things, all the marketing channels. Don't overwhelm yourself. The biggest step to inaction is too much information on your plate. I'm going to say that again. The biggest step to inaction is too much information on your plate. Start with one thing and you'll be making progress. So,
yeah,
I thought that was such a powerful quote. Go ahead, Debbie.
Can you say it one more time? Because
I will. Yes. Yeah. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Okay.
The biggest step to inaction is too much information on your plate.
Okay. Thank you.
Start with one thing and you will be making progress. So I will also put that quote in the comments under this video once we sign off. So let's see. Oh, Anne said, "Oh my goodness, that's scary. I hope everything's okay. Yeah. Keep us posted on that." So Dell asked, how do you grow the group and invite others in? You can do that through your Facebook and just be you don't want to be overly salesy with it, right? But it's always about what's in it for them. And if you put quotes, like powerful quotes from your book, or what they can expect, it's always what's in it for them, not what's in it for you, right? Make it irresistible for them. And every one of us needs our hearts nurtured. And of course, the Lord is the best nurturer of all, but he uses us because we are his plan. Listen, and I'm not going to preach, Joe, but I have to say this because it just came to my mind. So I'm just going to put it out there. When Jesus ascended to heaven, he sent his spirit to us and we are his plan. And so we are his hands for tender touches. We are his eyes to look at somebody in the eye and listen to them in tears as they share their hard story. We're his mouth, we're his ears, we're his heart, right? We're his feet. So we are his plan. And so invite people into your world and nurture them, love on them, give them your best. And if you don't have an email list yet, you can, this is a great way to start building your email list. Do a Facebook group. Love is a marketing strategy. I believe that with all of my heart. Love is a marketing strategy, and you just love them like Jesus. And if you don't love them like Jesus, ask the Lord to give you a greater capacity to love. I've had to pray that numerous times. Lord, would you please help me? Give me a greater capacity. I want to love you more. I want to love others more. So, but that's a good question. I hope I answered that question. Colleen, let's see. Colleen said, I must have missed it. What is a lead magnet? So, Colleen, a lead magnet is, and by the way, we have this training in our Book Marketing Pro Academy, but a lead magnet is it's a freebie. It's something of value that you create, and it can be a PDF, it can be a 7-day devotional, it could be something very simple, 1 page, something that is relevant to, if you're an author and you're promoting a book like Debbie is, it's relevant to their message, and it adds immense value to the one who's receiving it. Because here's the thing, people don't just give their email addresses these days. Our inboxes are flooded with emails. So give something of value in exchange for their email address. And that's a lead magnet. All right. Great question. All right. Any other? Let me look here. Let me see what Ann said here. Del, once you start inviting Facebook friends to your group, you'll find that you'll be getting requests from people who were referred to the group by their friends. Thank you, Ann. Yes, 100%. Very good. We also, in Book Marketing Pro Academy, we have a whole training on setting up a Facebook group and how to do it, how to grow it, how to set it up, like the actual technical parts. So all of that is in there as well. All right. Well, that will conclude our time. Debbie, I hope this was helpful.
It was, definitely.
Good. I hope those listening in, that it was helpful for you. And God bless you all. And Ann Griffiths, let us know in the BMA group that everything's okay. Once you know, hopefully it was just a tremor of some kind. So love you all, appreciate you all, and until next time, bye-bye.